Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's your friend Bats. My name is Jared, and I want to talk about something about comics, and that's what I do on this channel, right? But when I started this channel, it was around 2017, 2018. Comics were really bad at the time, at least in my opinion. I felt like they were kind of coming to an end in a way, and that's kind of a lot of the narrative that you heard online with a lot of just in general with comics fans, people in comics, out of comics. There was a lot of I don't know, red versus blue politics in comics, which there is a lot today still, but back then it just felt so much more like grungy, I guess. And now it's kind of like commonplace where it's just like, yeah, no one really cares, but in 2018, I really thought, I was like, this might be like kind of the end. I remember hearing a lot of things about, Marvel selling, or licensing out their characters to different companies and stuff like that, and putting stuff in Walmarts because no one goes to the comic shops anymore, and everything, is just getting worse. And then as time kind of went on, that narrative got stronger and stronger and stronger, and a lot of people got, YouTube famous, if you will, within the comic book industry, or not industry, but within the comic space on social media and YouTube. And it's starting to look like most of those people in 2026 have not moved on from 2018. They have chosen to stay in the 2018 talking points. They decided to stay. Everything is terrible and everything is out to get you, especially if it's on like the right wing side of comics. And it's just like, which is really stupid to even say that there's a right wing side and a left wing side of comics. It's just comics. And what's really just crazy is like, in 2026 and in 2025, when you looked at the comic space on social media and YouTube and Instagram, TikTok, wherever, I started to really see a big rise in an audience on all the platforms. I see on YouTube, I don't know if the algorithm is sending it my way or it just realizes, I'll watch that content where it's just some guy like in his poorly lit bedroom going, I went to the comic shop today and I bought this stack of books. And it's just like this guy, he could be in his like either like his late 40s, his like he's on his pension, like it's some grandpa, some guy in his 40s who's like awkward, or it's like some hip young kid, and they're like, look at the stuff I bought today on Wednesday, and I'll just watch it. I like that stuff. I like seeing other people buying comics. It makes me happy in some weird way that like I'm like, I do that too. And, I make that content too. And so I appreciate seeing all these different people getting really excited about comics. Like knowing that like, I made a video, like over a year ago, like maybe it was the end of 2024. I think it was the end of 2024. And I said, I'm really excited about comics again. And I'm sitting in my car in the grocery lot or grocery mart parking lot, holding up Absolute Batman #1. I'm in like a yellow work shirt or something, and I was just really excited about comics at the time. And I was like, I've been away for a little while collecting floppies. I've been only collecting collected editions. But, now there's this new Absolute Batman by Scott Snyder, and there's, Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee are doing Hush. I'm really excited about comics. And even though I think the Hush 2 thing didn't pan out the way I thought it was, I'm still excited. And I see that across the board on social media, on YouTube, of people just being excited about comics. And the only people I see who aren't excited about comics are the same people from 2018 who told you everything was bad. And I'm just going to say it. If you watch something like a show like Thinking Critical or Clownfish or John Della Rose, JDA Talks Comics, and you still agree with that, you're just objectively wrong at this point, because comics are doing great when it comes to fandoms. Like, people are enjoying comics. It's only a small number of people screaming into the wind, trying to retain the audience of essentially sad sack, middle-aged, mainly conservative audience going, everything is woke and everything sucks. Because that's really not the case. Every comic that I'm currently buying off the shelf, I'm enjoying. Some people don't like modern Amazing Spider-Man. I'm really enjoying it. I think Joe Kelly is doing a great job. I'm just loving Absolute Batman. I think it's fantastic. It is 90s absurdity in 2026. I'm there for it. I am there for it. When it comes to Nightwing, Dexter Soy and Dan Waters writing it, Dan Waters gets this character. Wes from Thinking Critical doesn't get Nightwing at all. He doesn't. Dan Waters does. And as far as I'm concerned, a lot of these conservative, right-wing comic book, pop culture, geek culture commentators, as far as I'm concerned, they're bums. They're bums who are just trying to retain an audience, telling everyone it sucks, so you keep clicking on it. It is super easy to just go, everything sucks. Like, I can come on here and complain about every comic and get tons of views, but I don't. I come on here and I say, look what I'm reading. This is what I'm enjoying. And if I don't like it, I just straight up say, it could have been better. I say that all the time with art and coloring and some of the writing stuff. But on the most part, I enjoy comics. I've been doing this since I was 10 years old. I'm 40 years old. I'm never going to stop at this point. I just love this medium, and I cannot stand a bunch of middle-aged bums coming on here in the comics community complaining about everything, making up stupid controversies that aren't even there. For what? For clicks? For clout? If you don't like comics, you don't talk about them. I don't like football. And you know what I never talk about? I never talk about football because I don't like it. So if you don't like comics, stop talking about it. Go away. Get out of our community. Get out of here, because it's not for you anymore. Stop trying to pull in, ruin the fandom. you're ruining geek spaces for people. Like trying to make people feel bad about enjoying something as silly as Amazing Spider-Man is dumb. And I think it's time for you to go bye-bye. But that's my thoughts. I think comics are absolutely across the board doing great. I'm not a retailer. I'm not a analysis. I'm just a schmuck on the internet who loves comics, and I just see on social media and on YouTube lots of new people in the comic space, and that makes me really happy because for a long time it was like, oh, you read comics? That's weird. And then like all the way into essentially like until about 2012, people were like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then by the time we got to like the late 2010s, the majority of everyone was like, comics are terrible. And now we're in the mid 2020s and comics are good. So it's really cool to see comics, like people excited going to the shop. I asked the guy that I buy comics from, how many Wednesday Warriors do you have in this small little area? And he's got a whole, everyone's got like a pull list, his regulars. He's got regulars. People are coming in on Wednesdays. And I've been going on Wednesday. I've been seeing the same guys. And we're saying, hey, hi, how are you? To the same guys. And that's freaking awesome. I love that comics are back. And people are excited to read comics again. So that's all I really got to say. I just want to say I love comics. And what are you reading? Like, tell me down below. If you got this far, tell me down below. What are you reading? What new comics are you excited about? And if you're one of those guys who sit in their bedroom and like show your pull list or do stuff on YouTube, let me know in the comments also. Like, I want to, let's get this community like strong again. Let's get this community like, let's have conversations. Let's have silly, like, who would win, the Hulk or Wolverine, even though we've seen it a million times. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's talk comics. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.